Sairam. Let me begin by showing you two very special and historic documents. The first document, dated the 28th of September 1946, shows the sale of a piece of land which is about 3.86 acres in size for a consideration of 5,000 rupees from a certain Shri Kadiyala Venkata Ramappa to a Srimati Doddamane Sakamma. Now, back in those days, 5,000 rupees was a princely sum equivalent to what is about 60 lakh rupees today, or let us say 60,000 to 65,000 US dollars, maybe more. But what is so special about this document so many years old? That becomes clear when we look at the second document. The second document is the donation of this piece of land by Srimati Doddamane Sakamma to Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, our dear Swami, for the construction of a bhajan hall and an ashram. Yes, dear brothers and sisters, this piece of land that is being documented in both these documents is the land on which today we have the abode of supreme peace, Prasanthi Nilayam, the abode, the home for Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. You see, Swami says that the avatar never stretches out the hand to receive. The avatar always stretches out the hand like this to give and give. And this has been a statement that I have verified and got reinforced multiple times when I have interviewed people from royalty, industrialists, very rich people, very influential people who say that it has always been a struggle for them to make Swami accept anything, even the smallest things. But they have always been recipients of His grace in the divine sense, in the spiritual sense, and even in the material sense. So Swami has given and given all his life. And yet, when it came to his abode, he has received. Yes, Swami says that anybody has the right to demand only from God, and from nobody else we should receive anything. The only other person or people from whom we can receive are our parents. And that too, Swami says, we cannot demand from our parents. Whatever they give, happily, we can accept happily. And as I said, the three abodes that Swami has accepted from three women. That is why these three women are considered as his mothers. The first, of course, is the Daiva Mata, the Divine Mother, Mother Ishwaramma. Mother Ishwaramma gave Swami the first abode, her own womb, which he entered as a blue ball of light when she was drawing water from a well. And he rested there in that abode for 9 months. And therefore, she is the primary, the foremost mother. Salutations to her. The second mother is Karnam Subbamma, the wife of the Karnam or the accountant in the Puttaparthi village, who was like a foster mother for Swami. She is like the Kali Yuga Yashoda for Sai Krishna. And many have been the discourses in which Swami has spoken very fondly about Karnam Subbamma. In fact, when the Burrakatha boys were putting up a Burrakatha, a traditional form of singing and storytelling about the life of Mother Ishwaramma, Swami told them, how can you not make a story about Karnam Subbamma? She has also been a mother to me. So that is Karnam Subbamma, who was responsible for the land on which the first mandir or the Pata Mandir for Swami was constructed. The third mother is, of course, Srimati Doddamane Sakamma. She is the one who provided the area, the land, and was also one of the major contributors in the construction of the Prasanthi Nilayam Mandir. Srimati Doddamane Sakamma was the third wife and the widow of Shri Doddamane Chikka Basappa. She was a very independent, free-thinking, intelligent and self-confident woman, a woman the likes of which very few were seen back in those days. She set up her own business and she had successful coffee estates. In fact, her business was called Sakamma Coffee Works and she was very popular in Bangalore and many other cities. Now, how she came to Swami is a very beautiful story. As I said, she was a woman of great influence and wealth, and she used this influence and wealth for the good of society. She has been conferred the titles of Lokaseva Parayani, meaning the epitome of service to society, Dharma Parayani, the epitome of righteous conduct. Both these titles were conferred by the rulers of Mysore, the Mysore state Maharajas. That apart, she had also been conferred the title Kaiser-e-Hind by the British government back then, which was ruling India. So she was well recognized for her selfless service. This episode occurred when she was at her coffee estates in the town of Somwarpet in the district of Coorg. Otherwise, she usually stayed at Basavan Gudi in Bangalore, where her home was there, her business was also established, which is Sakamma Coffee Works. So at Somwarpet, it was a normal day which began with her ritualistic worship. As she was worshipping, a maid came to her and told her that somebody has driven into their compound in a car and they are demanding to see her. Now she was shocked at the audacity of these people. Anyway, she got up and went. She saw that it was a very old model car, and in the back seat there was a very old person seated there who had a long moustache and a very venerable beard. The car and the person must be the same age, she thought. And then he was seated on a tiger skin. In the driver's seat was a young lad barely out of his teens, and she wondered whether such a young person can even have a driving license. She quickly scanned the plate of the car to see the number. There was no number there, it was only written Kailash Committee. She went to this elderly person who was exuding an aura of holiness and saintliness and welcomed him into the home. She then offered him a seat, some flowers, and then some fruits to eat. The man said, "I don't indulge in this Jivva Chapalyam," meaning I don't indulge in my tongue in different places like this. And so he refused to take the fruits. She then asked him what she could do to honor him and serve him. He told her, "You should become a member of the Kailash Committee." She agreed. As I said, his aura and presence were such that she knew it was something very noble and wonderful. So she right away agreed, and she asked what she should do for that. He said, "You have to make a deposit of 1,000 rupees, and here is the certificate. I will sign on it, you will also sign on it, and you become a member of the Kailash Committee." She gladly agreed. All the documentation was done, and then she went to fetch the 1,000 rupees which she had to pay. At that time, this elderly gentleman stopped her and said, No, you keep that 1,000 rupees with you. When I need it, I will ask for it." Saying that, he blessed her. They went back into the car, and in an instant, they had vanished. A few weeks later, she was at the home of a friend where the guest was Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. And even as she saw Swami for the first time, she was awestruck because she saw him morph and change into the image of that young driver of the Kailash Committee car. Not just that, even as she was recovering from it, he changed into the form of that elderly gentleman who was seated behind, who had asked her to make that donation. And then he changed back to the form of Swami, came close to her and said, "You owe me 1,000 rupees. Can you give that to me now?" That's it. That was the point where Srimati Doddamane Sakamma was convinced that this is divinity in human form. She became a devotee of Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, and despite many members in her family calling her foolish and dissuading her, as I said, she was a firm and independent woman. She just stuck on to her faith. And indeed, she was a devotee who was given the great opportunity to serve as another mother for the avatar. It was at her home in Bangalore that Swami would stay. It was at her home that Professor Narayan Kasturi, the biographer for Swami, the translator Swami, also met Swami in her home. Many other devotees too met Swami and got introduced to Swami at the residence of Srimati Doddamane Sakamma. Not only would Swami stay with her when he came to Bangalore, Wherever Swami traveled, whether it was Karur, whether it was Trichy, all these places that I have mentioned in the Sathya Sai story. I do hope you are watching that serial on the Sathya Sai story, where we are taking the story from 1947 onwards. They're all there, 7 episodes so far, more episodes to come. At this link above, the playlist is there, you can have a look at it. So Doddamane Sakamma was always there, caring for Swami, taking care of his food, ensuring that he's having rest. Many times Swami himself would request her, "Why are you returning to Bangalore so soon? Stay some more days with me." And then she would tell Swami, "If you want me to stay, you must give me a special darshan." Special darshan meant a divine cosmic vision, and many times Swami has given not just her, but many other devotees also who benefited of being there when she made this request. One occasion I remember having read about is on the hill where the Kalpavriksha tree is there. Swami gave darshan in the Jyoti Swarupa, the embodiment of light. As the crowds around Swami began to increase, Doddamane Sakamma made a humble plea to Swami. She said, "Swami, please come to Bangalore. I will establish an ashram for you there. We will look out for a piece of land and build this ashram." And Swami refused. You see, dear brothers and sisters, Swami has always loved Puttaparthi. In fact, it has possibly increased even more because his mother, first mother, Srimati Ishwaramma, made this prayer to him that, "Swami, whatever you may do in your divine avataric mission, please be in Puttaparthi." So that has been Swami's love for Puttaparthi. But we cannot say that Puttaparthi has loved Swami in that manner. Puttaparthi to a large extent has been antagonistic to Swami, especially in the early years. People would criticize, condemn Swami, all the devotees coming there, and that is the reason why, as mentioned in the Sathya Sai story, devotees like Gumagutta Subbarao, the Yadalam family of Bukkapatnam, all of them became very dear to Swami because they would take care of the devotees, protecting them from these many antagonistic people who would even slam their doors shut when Swami was taken out in procession. So it has been a situation like that. It is seeing these antagonistic people that the second mother, as I said, that is Subbamma. Subbamma built the Pathamandiram. Because when Swami was staying in a hut, some people set fire to that hut. And what happened? That is another Leela, where a cloud came only over that hut, showered rain and put off the fire, and nothing happened to Swami. But then something happened in the heart of Karanam Subbamma. She procured a piece of land on which Pathamandiram was constructed, and in December of 1945 it was inaugurated. The quirk of fate was such that Karanam Subbamma, who gave the land and large part of donations to build this Pathamandiram, was not alive to see this. In fact, she got the blessing of merging into the lotus feet of Swami, because Swami himself came and fed her water even after she had died. That is a beautiful story in itself, and we shall cover it in another video. In this case, when the crowd was increasing and the antagonistic people also kept getting more antagonistic, Doddamane Sakamma decided that she had to get this piece of land. The piece of land that she procured at a very high price from Kadiyala Venkataramappa was outside Puttaparthi. Where Prasanthi Nilayam is today is actually outside Puttaparthi. Puttaparthi was concluded at the Venugopala Swami temple itself. So outside Puttaparthi on a hillock, she purchased this land and offered it to Swami, and said, she has written there in that document, that this land Swami can sell, or he can donate, or he can use for two main purposes that she has written. First, she says, the construction of the ashram and the bhajan hall, and for that the land also can be leased out to farmers, and the rent that those farmers pay can go towards construction of the ashram and the bhajan hall. The second thing she says, that residences for devotees can be constructed and the devotees can purchase this. However, it is totally left to Swami's discretion who gets it and who does not get it. Nobody should interfere in it. Swami will decide who gets the residences and who will not get the residences. But even though they get the residences, the land will still belong to Swami. It will not belong to the devotees to whom it has been given. These were her thoughtful points that she put forth, and it is on this piece of land which Bhumi Puja was done on the 14th of January 1948. It was the holy occasion of Makara Sankranti, when all divine projects begin. That is when the construction of the Prasanthi Nilayam ashram started, and it was inaugurated on Bhagawan's silver jubilee birthday on the 23rd of November 1950. Again, interestingly, the quirk of fate was such that Srimati Doddamane Sakamma, who gave her body, mind, soul, everything to Swami and for the construction of this ashram, she was not there to see the construction and completion, just as Karnam Subbamma was not there to see the Pathamandiram. In fact, Doddamane Sakamma passed away in the May of 1950 in the town of Mysore. Swami had travelled to the hospital and he blessed her, and it is with tears of joy and gratitude to Swami that she gave up her body, holding on to his lotus feet. It is indeed a great privilege and pleasure to be able to listen to the stories of these great bhaktas of the Lord who inspire bhakti in our heart towards the Lord. From the life of this wonderful mother of Swami, Srimati Doddamane Sakamma, I learned two things. The first is that we need to be people who serve others and have humility and devotion in the heart to get the opportunity to give something to Swami. Swami has everything. Why does he need anything from us? But it is for our joy and redemption he gives us the opportunity to give, and he accepts. But for that we need to have that humility and devotion. And the second is that it is the greatest blessing to be able to give to Swami, because what we get in return is that peace which passeth understanding, that contentment, that joy that we will never be able to get from this world. The true devotees understand this, and that is why when you ask any of them, they will say that they have not sacrificed anything for the Lord. Because sacrifice is when we give something greater in return for something lesser. When we are giving something far lesser in exchange for the ultimate, it is not a sacrifice, it is an intelligent investment. May all of us become intelligent investors in the grace of God. Dear Swami, may the love that we have for you in our hearts keep growing stronger every passing moment. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.